How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
What's up, Will?
Whoa, what's up, Ramiro?
Dude, you're looking very warm right now.
Yeah, it's cold out. It's stormy. It's thunderstorms. Hopefully my power doesn't go out during this.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That would be fantastic. Hey, well, welcome everybody to Story of the Fight. My name is Ramiro, also known as Miro. That's my boy Will. This is where we talk all things mixed martial arts. Hey, this is the first time we've been together. Rich, our producer, pointed this out. He's like, hey, it's been a while since y'all recorded together.
Yeah, I mean, life happens, you know? The holidays, all this stuff.
Life happens. Hey, shout out to Toasty for filling in too. I was just about to give a shout out. He's joining us right now. What up, Toasty? But dude, coming through in the clutch. You know, I'm like, hey, you know, I don't think I'll be able to come through.
Shoot. Shoot, I don't think I'm not gonna be here last time. Toasty in the live chat. I'm in.
Put me in. No, shout out to Toasty for sure, man. Did you have a chance to watch that episode?
I did, yeah. Good stuff.
Dude, Toasty always putting out good stuff, man. But yeah, so
with the backdrop.
So again, together yet again. Will, you went on some escapades.
You can say that again.
Had a good time though?
Yeah, had a fantastic time. Should we talk about that like after we cover the fights?
If you want to.
Yeah, because it's
hey, this is your escapade. I'm not gonna put your escapade out on blast until you want to. You know what I mean? So, hey, shout out Keith.
Yeah. Shout out Keith from the One FC chat.
Yeah. Now,
which has to do with the escapades, but we'll talk about that later. Because, dude, I'm telling you, bro. Like, remember we had the trip to Texas, and we were like, lifetime of a lifetime.
Yeah.
It was a trip, lifetime of a lifetime. This was
a lifetime of a lifetime of a lifetime.
It was next level.
That's fantastic. I can't wait to hear about it. Like I purposely haven't texted you to ask you about it so we can talk about it on the podcast. Were you going to say the same thing?
I was going to say I purposely have not told you all the details because it was just
see?
It was nuts.
Hey, there we go. Hey, shout out HLB Cohen, man. Thanks for joining us. He says, let's fucking go, bitches.
More than Back to the Future.
All right. So, yes, if this is your first time joining us, Rich put it up on the screen, probably trying to remind us like you idiots. You have to remind everybody to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Spotify, Breaker, Podcast Radio, Public, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Anchor FM, anywhere podcasts are found, and social media as well.
Yeah, it's at Story of the Fight on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch, everywhere. At Story of the Fight.
They took away our warning on TikTok. We're no longer close to getting banned.
Look at that. We've
been really good lately. All right, so we can go ahead and get started talking about UFC 282. Jan Błachowicz versus Ankalaev. I know that this was supposed to have been a different main event, right? But either way, we've been talking about Ankalaev, somebody that was ascending, that was going to be fighting for a title soon. I didn't think it was going to be this year. He missed up my predictions episode, by the way.
Dude, the predictions episode is a crapshoot, man.
Oh my God!
Last year we did pretty good. I feel like for our predictions.
Really good last year.
This year,
not so much.
This year, it's a bad one. It's a real bad one.
Oh man, but let's kick it off then. Jan Błachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev. Man, what were your initial thoughts? What did you do, or what did you see on what they were doing in the octagon?
So instantly, Jan's style instantly was nullified just by Ankalaev being a southpaw. Because Ankalaev or Jan Błachowicz always, you can count on the leg kicks. And you can count on this combo that he throws where he'll throw his lead left hand as like a weird little shovel hook to the body and then come over the top with the overhand right. He does it just over and over and over again. And he does it almost like simultaneously. Like, he throws them at the same time almost. And you're like, what are you doing, man? But it works really, really well. But he couldn't do that against the southpaw, right? Because it's not a liver shot anymore. That left hook is hitting like the side, like you're almost like your kidney. And it's like, that's not what you want in that combo, at least. And so it took him a while to kind of figure out Ankalaev in that first round to deal with the southpaw. And then he was like, oh, if I just blast your legs, you'll have to fight orthodox, and then I can start landing my combo. And he did exactly that. He tore up his leg. Ankalaev had to switch stances, and then he started throwing that left shovel hook, right overhand combo, and he had some good success with it. And then
start
Ankalaev
tearing
was
up
like,
that leg.
yeah, and then start tearing up that leg, and then Ankalaev's like, oh yeah, I'm Dagestani. What am I doing? I'm just gonna grapple for the rest of this fight.
Which he did, right? And Keith
Yeah.
said Jan's leg kicks did some damage. Man, what was it, that third round?
The third round was
dropped
nasty.
him a couple times. Dropped him a couple times off those leg kicks.
And then buckled him on his rear leg, which was then his lead leg, right? He buckled him with that leg. So he tore up both legs.
So at this point, I was like,
didn't watch
my guy has no tires at this point. You know what I mean? Like they're out. And then, like you said, he comes out in that fourth round, gets a takedown. Jan didn't really have very much to show off his back, I didn't think. Ankalaev seemed very, very comfortable on top. And even when he was able to give him a little bit of distance and posture up or he'd stand up, Jan was very satisfied with putting his hands behind his back and kind of like still trying to attack the legs, like still kicking those shins, trying to kick the calves any way possible. He's like, nah, man, I already started the groundwork for that, and I ain't about to stop. And
I think that was ultimately that's what did him in, though, is he had so much success with the leg kicks that he stopped throwing the hands, and he was too focused on the leg kicks, and he was just waiting for Ankalaev to plant to throw the leg kick. And in that time waiting, Ankalaev was just able to grapple with him, and he got a little too focused on the leg kicks, I think.
Yep. And how did you have it?
So Keith says on the ground Jan didn't do well. Ankalaev did to Jan what Jan did to Izzy in this fight, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
But live, I actually scored it a draw. And I had rounds 1, 2, and 3 going to Jan, and then a 10-8 in the 5th round for Ankalaev. So I had a draw. This morning, I rewatched the first round because I was like, that was the closest one for me. I thought Ankalaev won it. I thought he won. I would give Ankalaev 1, 4, and 5 with a 10-8.
But it was close.
It was a close fight for sure. Yeah, first round is arguable. You could give it to either guy, I think.
We've had a few fights like this recently where you've had to go back and watch a couple of different rounds. Like I think about like the O'Malley fight, when live you're like, oh, Piotr Jan got it. Piotr Jan should have got it, and then you go back and watch it, like actually, it was probably a good decision. So
yeah. And HLB Comer says performance of the night was Dana's coked out post fight interview. His frustration about this fight was very funny. He was so pissed. He used this one to take all the hate away from the co-main. He just buried this fight so hard that he was like, I don't want to talk about that fight. I'll talk about this one.
Out of this, I guess he said that the next fight,
shout out Regen.
The next, Regen joining us, huh? Shout out Regen. Tired, but still had to show up for the show. Appreciate it. By the way, I believe Regen having a baby.
Whoa!
Congrats!
Shout out Regen. That's awesome.
Yeah, but So looking at this, Dana not happy. He says that the next title fight should be Glover versus Jamal Hill in Brazil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're gonna do that. I thought Jamal Hill was fighting Anthony Smith, but I guess they're like, this is such a shit show. We don't even care. We're just gonna do this because to paint the picture. Whoa, Regen says I did. We are home with her now. Thanks.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Congratulations, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah, Tosi says maybe the UFC will learn their lesson and stop saying stupid stuff like "we guarantee a new champ today." Yeah, it's so funny how much this blew up in the UFC's face because Yujiri Prochazka is supposed to be fighting Glover Teixeira on this card for the belt, right? The rematch, defending his belt for the first time. He tears his shoulder. He dislocates his shoulder. They try to put it back in place. They destroy his shoulder in the process. And so he has to get surgery. He vacates the belt, says, look, I'm going to be out for a year. It's not honorable for me to keep the belt because it's Yujiri. So, of course, he's going to do that. And then they're like, okay, well, Ankalaev versus Jan is on this card. We'll just make that a title fight. And we'll end the year with a champ. And then Sal D'Amato said,
So funny. Oh, yeah,
But now
to be
there's no
Sal
chance.
D'Amato. But you know what? The thing is, I believe Sal D'Amato is the one that had scored it a draw.
Yeah, I know.
And that's not that bad still.
No, it's actually a respectable scorecard.
Right?
And if you look at the way that they've incentivized 10-8 rounds and things like that, and they're supposed to give them more often, because if you look at it, that first round versus that fifth round, there's no way those should be scored the same.
Yep.
The first round's very close. The fifth round was all Ankalaev. So the fact that he gave it a 10-8 in the fifth round shows that Sal's actually taking the judging classes seriously.
He's probably thinking like, I finally do my job right. Everybody's giving me a hard time about it.
I know. He's like, you know what? Maybe I should start paying attention.
That's so funny.
Hey, I don't know about you guys, but I actually started watching these fights, and they're actually pretty good.
There's more to it than just boxing. Yeah. So, dude, now, if you're Magomed Ankalaev, if you're Jan Błachowicz, you hear Dana saying, "Hey, the next title fight's going to be Glover Teixeira." Do you even want a rematch? Do you even want this one back? Do you even want to run it back? You're like, well, it's not going to be for the title. Give me somebody else then, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think this fight was as bad as Dana thinks it was. I actually enjoyed the fight.
It's not. It wasn't that bad.
I think he was just pissed at the decision and the fact that they have no champion.
100%. And he's putting the blame on the fighters.
Yeah, because that's what he does.
But, it's so funny.
Yeah. Maybe if I don't know. It's just funny because they took a title shot away from Glover Teixeira to make this a title fight because they wanted to end the year with a belt. And it just kind of blew up in their face. And it's hilarious.
They showed the footage of Glover on the side, and he's like, how do I get in there? Like, so,
yeah,
do I get in there? And then they call it draw, and he's like, oh, let me sit back down real quick.
Yeah. Like, the whole point was whoever won this fight, they were going to have them fight Glover because he's out so long. Like, that's what was going to happen. So Glover was going to go in there, do the whole. Every time they try to do this, it blows up in the UFC's face. They had Brock Lesnar in there to push DC in his cowboy boots, his suit tucked into his cowboy boots, and then that fight never even happens. Like,
that's so funny.
Every time they plan these like WWE moments, like it never works. It's so funny.
But, and Glover was very open about feeling like he got slid by the UFC.
He did, dude.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So for him, if you're Glover, you're probably sitting there also like, that's what you get.
Yeah,
karma.
Yeah, 100%. He's sitting there with Alex Fajeda. He's like, we could both be champs right now. Fuck you guys.
Oh man. All right. Anything else on the main event?
I don't think so. The Jamal Hill Glover fight, it's an interesting one.
Very interesting fight.
I think they're saying is that 283 or 284?
I don't remember exactly what the number is, but it's the one in Brazil. They definitely want to have it in Brazil.
Yeah, which is kind of cool for Glover, right? Because like they do him dirty here.
Might have worked out. Might have worked out at then. We'll see.
Jamal
Hill might have different plans, but we'll see what happens. All right. We'll move on to the people's main event, the people's champion, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon.
Just more of a shit show.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what happened here.
I do.
So Paddy comes out, and he has a very kick-heavy game plan to start off, more than I've seen from him before, with the leg kicks, with the body kicks, with the head kicks. He's trying to mix it up, switch kicks, you name it. Like he's doing whatever he can to mix it up. And Gordon seemed like he was really ready for anything that Paddy had to throw his way.
He's like, hey, I know every single guy you fought in the UFC is now also off the roster, but I am actually defensively responsible. Like I actually know how to block shots. I see them coming. You're not doing anything I haven't seen before. But check out this left hook.
Over and over again.
Over and over again.
And a couple of rights.
And a big overhand right.
Yeah. And I know that the announcers pointed it out a few times, but it's super obvious. Anybody could see it that's watched fighting for a minute. The chin straight up in the air as he's coming in and as he is exiting straight back. Chin stays straight up. And Gordon, they're like, the left is finding a home repeatedly. Well, his head's in the exact same spot over and over again. It's going to find a home repeatedly. Anybody that even has a little bit of accuracy is going to be able to find that chin.
Yeah, and that's what everybody kind of has said, right? Like Paddy's going to be here for a good time, not a long time. Like this pretty much showed that like he's not going to be like a top 15 fighter in the
Yep.
UFC. It's very entertaining because this was a fun fight. The first 2 rounds at least were very, very fun. Um, I thought Gordon did a fantastic job. Paddy tried to hit that like rear naked choke from guard,
Oh
almost
yeah.
like Ezekiel, but like not really. I think if he switched it to an Ezekiel like Olenek does, he could have got that. But instead he kind of tried to like sneak out with the rear naked choke and guard, and it didn't work. And
Yeah.
Gordon was like, "All right, cool. I'll just take the top control then, I guess." Uh, but Gordon's hands look real good.
Yeah, man. And with the takedowns that Gordon had, I don't know how much Gordon did while he was in top
Yeah.
position, right? But I think that while they were still standing, he still did more than Paddy.
Yeah.
To where, like, even if he didn't do very much damage while on top, he did enough while on the feet to maybe sway some of these rounds his way.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the first round. So this is another one I rewatched this morning because I was like, was it really as bad as everyone's saying it was? And yeah, it's pretty bad, dude. Gordon definitely won the first round. Second round was close. I guess you could say that's a toss up round. The third round was just all Gordon.
All Gordon.
And I love how in the post-fight conference they asked Dana about it, and he was like, "What a terrible game plan by Gordon to go out there and just try to control him in that third round." And it's like, yeah, but what about the first 2 rounds? What that third round? Like, why would you do that? Why would you go out there? It's like, yeah, but Dana, what about the other rounds where it was like action-packed?
Look,
and Gordon
Paddy
was
landed
winning?
some shots too.
Look at that chin.
But
look at that
it
chin way
wasn't.
up.
Yeah, it wasn't enough. I didn't think. Like those shots didn't land enough damage to be able to say, like, hey, I know that Gordon just peppered him with some left hooks right now, but that one shot wobbled him and was way more damage. There wasn't anything like that throughout the fight.
No.
What Paddy did win is the popularity contest between the two.
Well, yeah, definitely. But he had that going into it.
I was just about to say this too. Keith pointing out the fact that he was very confident going into that third round that he had won the first 2. And even Paddy said, I was coasting, coasting through that third round. Hey, there you go, HOB Comer. That's my accent for the day.
That's pretty
Liverpool
good.
accent. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, so Dana talking trash about anybody going in there and coasting, Gordon going in there and trying to coast that third round when Paddy in the post-fight interview said, I was confident I won the first round and I was coasting that third round.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, it's so funny because like HW Comer saying it's a bad look, terrible decision. And Paddy this past week has been just tanking his popularity. Like he's still popular, obviously, but he's just absolutely tanking his perception. He's suspended on Twitter because he has so many trolls now talking shit to him that he's like fighting back with them, and he got suspended on Twitter for it.
That's hilarious.
He goes on a podcast with Dana and just like kisses his ass so hard and throws Ariel under the bus, saying that Ariel. Have you been following that drama with Ariel?
No, dude. You know what? And look, dude, I know a lot of people love Ariel, and everybody's like, hey, Ariel comes back when shade's thrown his way. But the thing is that he is in the middle of a lot of drama.
Oh yeah, 100%.
For whatever reason it may be. So I'm just like, dude, I don't even want to listen anymore about any more drama from Ariel or any other ex-fighter or current fighter.
Well, here's some more of it for you.
Are you gonna give me Cliff Notes?
Cliff Notes, yeah. So Ariel's got Paddy's on a podcast with Dana, and they're sucking each other's dicks, and Paddy's like, yeah, I hate Ariel. He like all he does is make money off fighters. Meanwhile, Dana's just sitting there like, he's like, all he does is make money off his fighters, and he invites us on his show, and like he never pays the fighters to interview on his show, and it's like, bro, he's a journalist. Like you don't pay for interviews. Like that's part of the whole like thing about journalism is that you don't pay people for interviews. And he's like, yeah, he like had a bunch of drama because we asked him to pay me to come on his show, all this stuff, and like all this, and Dana's like, yeah, he's the worst thing in the whole sport, like just tarnishing him, right? And Ariel is like, bro, what? Like I got receipts, dog. And he like pulls up a voicemail that Paddy leaves him of Paddy's like, hey, I'm in New York, like I'd love to come on the show. Like if you got time for me, like I got an interview here, but outside of that, like I'll be free this whole weekend, like blah, 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 like let me come on your show. And then an email from Ariel's manager saying like, you got to pay him to come on the show. And it's like, oh, never mind then. And that was basically it. And Ariel's like, he's like, where the fuck did all this come from? And then and he tries to, after the fight, in the post-fight interview with Joe, Paddy tries to like get a dig on it. He's like, have you talked to my manager? How much are you paying me for this interview, Joe? And Joe's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. What did you think about the fight? Like, it's so funny, dude. Like,
I did catch that last part of that, and I thought that was kind of weird. Where he's like, "Yeah, how much are you paying me for this interview?"
Yeah, it's been nothing he's saying. Like, he's just making the wrong decision on every opportunity lately. HLB Comer, Paddy managed to unite the whole MMA community to stand behind Ariel, and that just tells you how badly Paddy. Exactly, Ariel, who's been the butt of the joke throughout MMA history, and now everybody's on his side because that's how bad Paddy was in this.
Oh man,
it's so ridiculous.
I might have to look into that then.
It's hilarious.
Like I said, it's just fun. So much drama all the time with that guy. So I'm just like, I'm over it. Over it. But back to the fight, Paddy. I agree with you. Probably shouldn't have won this fight. It just goes to show that, while this might not be boxing, your popularity, the pop that you get whenever you throw anything, the pop you get whenever you walk out, all that can definitely impact the way that judges view the round.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to share my screen really quick.
Ooh.
We got the good old MMA Decisions website. It's got, can you even see that?
Barely.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
So we got Dan Urban from Couchside Judges, just as good as the real judges, I guess. Gave it to Paddy, but everybody else gave it to Gordon.
Wow.
One journalist gave it to Paddy.
Wow. Interesting.
That says something, right?
Yeah. HB Comer says, let's give some respect to Gordon. He fought a great fight. I thought so too. And one thing I will say, the respect that Paddy showed to Gordon,
that is
mentioning
cool.
The fact that he's gone through a lot of trials and tribulations in his life, and the fact that he's still doing this thing at such a high level, and he was giving him so much respect throughout the entire thing, and even post-fight when he was saying that he wants to do something with Gordon's organizations as well. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. No, I agree that Paddy seems like a good dude. He's just kind of an idiot. And he lost his fight. Shout out Keith, says he's got to head out. He'll finish watching after. Thanks for joining, man.
Hey, Keith, thanks for joining us, man. All right, we'll move on to the next one. We have Mr. Santiago Ponzinibbio, George's boy, versus Alex Morono.
Man, what a fun fight, dude. I like Morono.
Morono's very deceiving. Like, you see him and you're like, okay, he's going to be sluggish. He's actually pretty quick.
Yeah, you expect him to be kind of like plodding with like his heels in the mud.
No, he's light on his feet, man. He's quick.
He catches you with weird shots too. Like he'll like his timing is really weird. And it's like, I don't know how much of that is just because he didn't have a full training camp in this and it just worked in his favor, or if he's just like that creative. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know, man. And hey, the thing I noticed too when I was watching this fight, and Morono was very heavy with the front kick to the body. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, man, that's a move that I saw a lot this card from a lot of different fights. A lot.
Yeah.
You see a lot of these transitions. Like the last thing was the calf kick. You see it be effective with one person. All of a sudden, everybody's doing the calf kick over and over again. You see somebody being effective with the front kick to the body. And you see a lot of people doing it over and over and over again. And I'm wondering, as the sport continues evolving, like how heavily used is the front kick going to continue being to the body? Well, this one's kind of to the chin.
Yeah. Shout out HW Comer. It's called cough button for a reason, Will. Yeah, I need to have my hand on that mute. Dude, there's a respiratory virus going around, bro. Everybody's sick. It's brutal.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But no, yeah, man. Ponzinibbio been doing this for a long time, man. 35 fights.
35 fights, and think about how much more he would have if he hadn't battled with he had like a bacterial infection or something that like
I don't remember exactly what it was, but he was out for a minute.
Yeah, a long time, like in his prime, honestly. Long time. Injuries, illness, all this stuff. But yeah, props to both these guys. A lot of times there's fights where they come together last minute. This came together within the week of the fight. And a lot of times it just turns into kind of like a sparring session, and no one really wants to commit.
Shout out Morono, dude.
D-Rod versus the Leech was like that, right?
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh, that's actually a really good matchup, and then they never really committed. Not this one. These guys went to war. Morono hurt Ponzinibbio a few times.
A few times, man. And then you see the shot right there where he hit the snot out of Morono. Dude,
that was that because he was setting up that right hand the whole fight.
Yeah.
Ponzinibbio. He was jabbing to the body, jabbing to the face. And then he'd come up with the 2 right behind it. It's like not an overhand, not a straight, like it was kind of like a mix, right? And this time he landed it flush and just like triggered the nerves in Morono's face. Like his face just went as he's like backing away, and it was like, oh no, dude, that's not good. And then he hit him with a follow-up shot too, because he was basically just walking backwards, frozen. Big shot by Ponzinibbio. And yeah, I did feel bad for Morono. I don't think he is ranked right now.
No, he's not ranked anymore, huh? He's not.
Yeah.
Well, what would you do next for Ponzinibbio?
It depends what he wants to do, man, because I mean he's getting up there. I don't know, maybe Michael Chiesa.
Okay.
Does Chiesa have a fight? I don't think so, right?
He
lost to Brady. It's been a while too. That was 2021. It's been a year since Chiesa was in there. I'd say Ponzinibbio versus Chiesa.
D-Rod hasn't fought Ponzinibbio, right?
No, but I think D-Rod is
he scheduled for something again already?
No. Oh, but he just lost to Magny. That's what it was. Yeah, maybe D-Rod or Chiesa. That's probably a good matchup.
Yeah, for all parties involved, really.
Yeah.
Because even though Ponzinibbio is not ranked, I mean, he's still a pretty big name in that division. He's been around for a long time. Be a fun matchup.
Yeah. I'd be into that.
All right.
But yeah, I do feel bad for Morono in that one because he came in on less than a week's notice, it seems like. And I mean, he hurt Ponzinibbio bad a couple times. In that round, he hurt him really bad.
We saw HLB Comer say he fought a good fight.
Yeah, he fought really, really well. So well that Dana gave him his win money. So that's cool.
There you go, man. There you go. He saved that fight, right? Instead of just canceling the entire thing, and he showed up really well. So Dana was feeling very generous. We'll talk about this later on.
Very generous. Yeah, I think it's the cocaine, like HLB Comer saying. Man. I think he's just feeling it, man.
He's finally made amends with Oscar De La Hoya. They were hanging out the other night.
Yeah.
All right. Before that fight, though, we did have Dricus du Plessis versus Darren Till. Dude, I was so excited to see Darren Till come back, man.
I picked Darren Till in this one.
Me too.
So my only 2 misses this card were the main event, but whatever, and this fight. Because I thought, man, du Plessis just kind of like Paddy when he throws his combos, his chin is straight up. And I was like, man, Darren Till, if he can keep it on the feet, he's gonna light this guy up. He's gonna catch him on these openings. And then he just could not keep it on the feet. It's like, what has he been doing? What has he been doing with Khamzat? Have they not been training?
I think he's just been rehabbing different things. I mean, whether it's his knee, whether it's something always.
Some of these takedowns, it's like all he had to do was grab him and he was going to get him down. His takedown defense was just non-existent. It's like, dude, you've been buddy with Chimaev, and it's like, what have you been doing? Just selling crypto? Like, what are you doing?
Just sticking around, jumping in pools.
Yeah, playing grab ass, but not actually training. Like, dude, because if he could just defend one takedown in this fight, he probably wins this fight.
Man, and okay, so that first round, they end up on the ground. Till's in a bad position up against the cage.
Really trying to take position.
It back, and just du Plessis unloads with that left hand, just repeated shots over and over and over again. And while he's getting hit, Darren Till's giving the thumbs up to Mark Smith, talking to Mark Smith, telling him, I'm okay.
Look, I'm stuck, but I'm not taking damage.
His left eye didn't say he wasn't taking damage. That's
true.
Swole up. It looked like he got stung by a few bees right there, man. It was just swollen. And then, excuse me, Till tries to stand up, and he ends up in the same position on the other side. And du Plessis is like, oh, thank God, because my right arm's not gassed.
Yeah.
So then he starts landing the exact same shots with the right arm. And I was like, what are you doing? I thought it was going to get stopped, man.
I thought so
Props
too.
to
And
Smith
I'm glad
for letting it go.
I'm glad it didn't because it would have been a bad call to stop it. But I wouldn't have been surprised if he stopped it. If that makes sense.
10-8 round that first round. I didn't check the scorecards, but
there's John Anik's like, that wasn't enough for me for the first round to be a 10-8, and it's like, John Anik, what are you talking about? What did Till do? That was a 10-8 round. Like, how are you going to score that the same as the second round? It was a pure dominant round for Duplessis. Like, that is a 10-8 round. Whatever.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even DC was like, that's probably a 10-8 round.
Yeah.
It's like, if DC's the one acting sane with scoring fights, like, that's how you know it's all hell's breaking loose. But
when it gets into the second round, I had hope for Till because I was like, okay,
he looked very
Duplessis
good.
put out a lot of energy. He's looking more tired. Darren Till, you see this lead elbow. There was a few times Duplessis was trying to close the gap, and he would come in with that lead elbow, and on one of those, Duplessis took a step back, and like you can see his head kind of like wobble a little bit. He's like, oh God, I got to shake that off.
The step in knee. Because Duplessis was changing levels. He just met him with the knee a couple times. Nasty.
It was so frustrating to me, though. So frustrating. As somebody that's a Till fan, I enjoy watching Till. I wanted this win for him so bad. It's like, dude, go to the body, please.
I know, yeah.
Duplessis looks tired. He's up against the cage. He's not throwing shots right now. He's almost like waiting for you to throw something to the head because he was headhunting over and over and over again. And he'd reach out and try to grab Duplessis' right arm and try to grab the card to come in with the left over and over and over again. I was like, dude, he's hurt right now. Just take some shots at the body and you'll be fine.
You know what would have served him well? Some front kicks to the body.
What everybody else was doing.
Yeah, just that poking step. Yeah. HB Comer says, watch the UFC Focus show with Ian Gary. He has a great theory about why Till moved away for this camp. At first, I thought he was reaching, but after the fight, it checks out. I'll have to check that out also. Toshi says, crazy how Till used to say he's too big for the division. It's almost cheating. And now it seems like he might need to drop another weight class.
Maybe drop multiple weight classes.
It's pouring. When he said that, he was still fighting at welterweight.
Yeah. Yeah. And this was at middleweight, right?
This was at middleweight, yeah. I don't think Till has the discipline anymore to make it to welterweight again.
And he said he probably tore his ACL.
I
haven't seen anything official.
Yeah. It looked like something happened.
For somebody that's torn their ACL before, they could probably tell you when they tore their ACL again.
Yeah.
They know the feeling. And if that's the case, what's next for Till, man?
I don't know, man.
Are you out another year?
Yeah, probably. They asked Dana the same thing, and Dana was like, I mean, what are you talking about? He was in a fight of the night. His stock doesn't drop. So that's at least the UFC's perspective of it. So
we're talking about a guy who fought against Woodley for the title, you know? And I just don't know what we should do with Till anymore. Because I love watching this guy fight, but his last fights, I mean,
he just cannot fight. He just cannot fight wrestlers.
But the thing is that,
I mean, Duplessis not even like a takedown artist.
All right, here we go. His last 5 fights, right? Lost to Tyron Woodley for the title. Get it. Lost to Jorge Masvidal. Nasty knockout. Beats Calvin Gastelum by decision, split decision. Loses to Robert Whittaker. Loses to Derek Brunson. Now loses to Dricus Duplessis.
Honestly, I think he's not going to have any success with this weight class. He's just not.
If he continues fighting, he's just going to be one of those fun fighters that between the top 15, or I should say between top 10 and top 15, so those like 5 right there, he'll be able to have some fun fights. But he's made such a name for himself already at this point in his career because of his fast ascension that I don't think they're going to be giving him any no-namers.
It's hard. You're in a tough spot, man. Like, and for what they're paying him, there's no way they're going to have him fight a no-namer. He's got to be making good money with the UFC. There's no way they're paying him like $40K show, you know?
So now maybe you do continue throwing the Dricus Duplessis of the world his way because they do know that Darren Till has a following and a name, and they're going to say, hey, well, if he's not going to move up the ranks, then at least let me use him to have other people move up the ranks. So it is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right, man.
What are you going to do?
I'll tell you what Ilia Topuria would do. That guy surprised the hell out of me. So we had Ilia Topuria versus Bryce Mitchell. I picked Bryce Mitchell going into this.
I had Topuria by sub in this one. I had that pick.
You did. Good for you.
Yeah, I thought exactly. I was like, he's gonna hurt him on the feet. Bryce is going to desperately shoot, and he's gonna take advantage of that and sub him. And that's basically what happened.
So
Topuria,
you're watching Darren Till, and you're like, man, there's a serious gap in this guy's game, right? And that's still the takedown defense in the wrestling.
Yeah.
You watch Bryce Mitchell, and you're like, oh, there's a serious gap in this guy's game, and it's just striking defense, dude. When he's throwing,
he just didn't look comfortable
at all. And props to Topuria, nonstop pressure since the very beginning, landing some big shots, busting Mitchell up early in the fight. Mitchell's throwing head kicks, and at the same time he's throwing head kicks. Did you notice this? He's throwing a head kick and putting his hands up like this to defend with his hands straight out. And I was like, oh boy,
not a good look.
Not a good look.
Looked very uncomfortable. No. And Topuria is one of those guys that like there's different because he was getting tagged, right? Bryce Mitchell was landing some stuff, but there was a difference in like what they were doing. Like there's levels, right? Like Topuria is like setting up traps with his strikes and his footwork, whereas Bryce Mitchell's like, I'm taking anything I can get. There's basically the difference. Topuria is like, I see what's happening. I'll land my shots. I'm setting this up. Like here's my game plan, and Bryce Mitchell's like, hit him. I'm trying to hit this guy. And that's basically
so see Ilia out here breaking my heart every fight versus Ryan Hall, and now Mitchell.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dude. Tosti's just like with a tear falling down, ripping the poster down off his room of Bryce Mitchell.
HW Comer says made him as flat as the earth. Love Bryce with that flat earth shit is ridiculous. I have it on very good private authority that it's all a show from Bryce Mitchell and that he does not believe the earth is flat. He is not the guy it's a persona. He's very much
like your boy Colby Covington.
Yeah, he's a very different person as compared to what he actually puts out there. But props to him, man, because it's a fun character. I like that character way more than like the like MAGA, like borderline racist personas.
Colby Covington. That guy's hilarious, though, man. How can you not love that guy?
Know.
He's so funny.
Ray Area says, no, he definitely does believe it. That's how good the character is.
Yeah, that's how good. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, I think this was just Bryce Mitchell being outclassed. And if you didn't know just how good Ilia Topuria was, you know now leading into this. This was just fantastic.
This was everybody always mentions his name with Paddy, right? Because they had the beef or whatever. People forget that they're not even in the same weight class. And after this, it's very clear that even though they're a weight class apart, Topuria would absolutely shred Paddy. And then like all discussions moving forward, I see people still, they're like, they should do that fight. It's like, dude, there's a reason Topuria didn't call him out after this insane performance. Because if they wanted that fight, he could have called him out. They probably would have got that fight. But he's like, dude, I just beat Bryce Mitchell. Like, I'm now in the top 10 of my division. Like, I'm chasing the title shot. There's more to this than just some shit talking.
And if I'm Paddy and Topuria moves up a weight class, you know what? So do I.
Yeah.
So do I. We move up at the exact same time. Let's get out of here.
He's like, I like eating pizza anyways.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this.
Absolute killer. All right.
Ray Area. He didn't believe in using soap when he took a shower until toast. Like I said, I mean, come on. It's a character. I've talked to a few people who have trained with him, and he's very much not this guy. But
it's funny either way, man.
Shout out to I love it, man. It's hilarious. Toasty, Ilia did fight at 155 against Herbert for this specific reason. That fight will always be an option. Yeah, exactly. So like he has fought at 155, but Paddy's never going to get to the ranking that will get a matchup with Topuria. Maybe if Topuria loses and he's like, man, I don't know if I'm ever going to get a title shot, then maybe that fight will happen. But I think by the time that happens to Topuria, I don't think Paddy's still the name value that he is right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, even when we're taking a look at the top 15 Number 15, you have Tony Ferguson. Connor, 14, Renato Moicano, who's been on a tear. At 13 is Magulov. Like, even if you give Paddy the bottom of the barrel for the top 15, it's a tough night.
He's in the worst division to be like at his popularity to skill ratio. It's the worst division.
Because when you said that in my head, I'm like, well, if you're the UFC, maybe you just continue feeding them perfect matchups, right? But I was looking at this, I was like, I don't think I could find a perfect matchup for him right now.
No, because like, and even if you look outside the rankings, it's like Terrence McKinney starches.
Cool.
You know what I mean? Like, there's guys like who aren't in the rank. I think Drew Dober. You know, like it's not going to go well.
It's a tough go.
You think Paddy lands more than 10 punches on someone like Bobby Green?
Oh, that'd be so much fun. That'd be so much fun. Come on.
I can't wait for this next fight with Bobby Green. So good.
All right, man. You ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
All right.
Real quick though, Toasty says UFC wants him to move up. Paddy's manager wants a new contract first, so we shall see who wins out there. They'll pay him.
Yeah,
they'll pay him.
And if they don't, Barstool will.
Yeah, Exactly. Or maybe Ariel will start paying him for interviews.
For interviews. There you go. Before this fight, we had a history being made. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Jay Perrin. Raul Rosas, 18 years and 2 months, coming in as the youngest fighter to ever step into the octagon.
Yeah, shout out Toasty. His favorite fighter right now is Raul Rojas. So he's Rosas. So he was stoked on this one. Yeah, dude, owned the moment, man. He got them. Like DC said, the UFC will give you the rub. Certain guys, right? Paddy gets it. There's certain guys who get it. Jared Gordon's not probably ever going to get it, but Rosas is getting it. And you can do with that. Like, you can either take advantage of that or you can fail in that moment. And Rosas thrived in that moment.
Man, I think that when you're 18, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, and sometimes that's a good thing.
And sometimes ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
And, I think Joe, he made a quirky comment, and I thought it was very true at the same time, where he's like, this guy doesn't have bills.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And it got me thinking, I'm like, man, what does he have to lose? He's 18 years old, right? He's on a 6-fight winning streak. His popularity is skyrocketing. But if he doesn't win this fight, he hops in his mom's car, they go home, and he's back to training 24/7 when he's done with his homework.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what he doesn't know. And so he goes out there, he seems so calm. He
comes out with the mariachi music. It was a cool walkout.
Dude, smiling, like high-fiving a bunch of fans, and like he's soaking in the moment.
Why does Dana want to stifle walkouts? Why does he want them to be boring? Like, clearly that's a good thing.
Imagine one stage, you know what I mean? The one stage, he walks out with an actual mariachi band behind him, and like, it'd be nuts.
Shoot up. Fucking crazy.
Oh, dude. It's so funny. We're already designing their next walkout.
Yeah.
But no, outside of just how impressed I was with his poise, the transitions that he had after he picks up Perrin, takes him down, and just methodically starts breaking everything down, right, to get in a better position, to finally get the left leg in with the hook. Once he flattens him out, when he rolls over, he sinks in the body triangle. It was just you could see it step by step, working out perfectly. And I thought to myself, like, man, this guy is the real deal.
He's good, man. He's definitely good. I hope they don't go too crazy with this. You know what I mean? Like, I hope they don't throw him to the wolves. I hope
take the Sean O'Malley route.
I take the Paddy route.
Yeah.
At least Sean fought Cheeto in his third fight in the UFC. Like, I don't need to see him fight anybody who looks like they might be something anytime soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No disrespect to Jay Perrin, but like,
Jay Perrin listens. Now he's not going to listen after that. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, we can take this slow with Rosas. We don't need to rush this.
He's only 18.
Yeah, but you look at like him versus like compared to, not versus as like a matchup, but compared to like a Chase Hooper, and it's just like
Yeah.
These young guys, but just so different. Rosas just looks already so much more
Same,
complete.
but different.
Same, but different. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and even when he was initially standing with Perrin, he
Shout out
didn't
Toasty.
look. He didn't look like he was out of water, a fish out
There's
of water.
there's a big difference when I'm thinking about that comparison with Chase Hooper. Because how old was Hooper when he got his UFC debut? He was young, right? He was probably like what, 20? He
19?
wasn't 18 for sure, but
No,
yeah,
19, 20, yeah, around
he
there.
was.
He's young.
But there's a difference in like just like their balance and like their like sturdiness. You know, like Rosas in the mix. Rosas is holding his own physically, whereas like Hooper, when he's in the mix, man, he's like getting like rolled
Yeah.
around and stuff. Like he's getting knocked off his feet and like he's like stumbling and like it's just not there with Rosas. It's just he's different, man.
He's different. All right,
Yeah.
man. Hey, but props to Rosas. And by the way, the post-fight interview, Dana, 50,000. I can't ask Santa Claus for it. You know, and I was like, dude, what? And then he's like, I need the 50K because I need to buy my mom a van so she can give me a ride to the PI. Bro.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It was just, you go through, you see him soaking in the moment, you see him fighting. While you're seeing him fighting, you're like, man, I think you said it last night. You know, he, instead of, what would you say? He boy
handled? Yeah, I got
boy handled him instead of man handled him. He boy handled him. And then, but I mean, he's fighting a grown ass man in there. And then he reminds you at the end that he's just a kid.
Yeah. And you're like, oh shit. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. No, great fight though. I'm really excited that his debut went that way.
Yeah.
And looking forward to seeing him again, man.
Hey, but his brother?
Yeah, that's
he's got a win over Toasty that shouldn't be a
Toasty
win.
wants back. Yeah. All right. So
how's a ref gonna call a fight when you're escaping an armbar and he thinks the arm snapped, but it didn't? You're just pulling your arm out of the armbar.
not cool, dude.
Shout out
Not
Toasty.
cool. That's when you wish Mario Yamazaki was still around, you know, because even if he did break it, he would have been like, keep on going. He didn't tap.
Like, I want to give him a chance to be awarded. Shout out HB Comer. This fighter begging is embarrassing and boring to watch. UFC should address that. Yeah, I hate anybody who gets a finish is asking for a bonus. Like, let's just give him a bonus for getting a finish.
Yeah, and it's sad though because you'll notice sometimes after they ask for it, they do get it, you know.
Yeah.
And but it's to that point where they're like, hey, all I know is if I'm at work and after a week, my chances of getting a $50,000 bonus are, you know, a lot higher just because I say, hey, CEO,
Yeah.
how about that 50K, baby? Had a great week, you know? And like, okay, why not?
Yeah.
Like, I would ask every week.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so it sucks that they're in that position, but I don't blame the fighters, you know, for doing it.
Yeah. The way to solve it is you just give a bonus for every finish. That's all it takes.
We'll talk about that later. Agreed. All right, we can move on here. We had Chris Daukaus versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik.
Yeah, this went exactly like everybody thought it was going to go. I mean,
Yes.
I feel for Daukaus, man. The guy is just so hittable. I mean,
that's the way to put it. Yeah.
When he knocked out, who did he knock out? Was it Shamil? Did he knock out? He fought Shamil, right?
Let me check. Let's see.
I think he knocked him out.
Shamil, yes.
Yeah, in that fight, that's when I realized this is not going to go well. The higher this guy goes, because he did knock him out, but in the pursuit, he got hit flush like 3 times. And I was like, man, if Shamil, no disrespect to Shamil, but if he's landing shots on you, like some of these other guys are going to also. And since then, he's been knocked out by Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades, and now Rozenstruik. He just, it's not like he's like frozen in there. It's just he just doesn't move his head well enough. Maybe he just doesn't come in on angles. I don't know what it is, but
tough month for the Daukaus boys, huh?
Dude, it's tough.
It's
tough, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But was not tough for Rozenstruik, man.
Dude.
A scary man. And, you know, it's funny. He, 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 I see him, and I would love to see him and Derek Lewis. I would love to see him and Ngannou again, where you just know it's going to be fireworks. Both of them are just going to be throwing caution to the wind, coming straight forward, and then whoever catches the other person first is going to win.
Yeah, I man, when they booked Daukaus versus Derek Lewis, and I was like, man, why would you do that? Why would you take this fight? And then they booked him against, and then Curtis Blaze, and it was like, probably not a good one either. And then they booked him against this guy, and then they booked him against Rozenstruik, and I'm like, dude, what did he do? What did he do to deserve these fights?
Oh my God, it was the management team. After he gets knocked out twice in a row, you probably say, hey, maybe not Rozenstruik.
Is Shamil available?
Because you want that one back?
You want that one back? Yeah. HLB Comer says this was the card of Dumb and Dumber, who wins the Idiot of the Night award. Nominated are Darren Till and Chris Daukaus.
Hey, so
let me ask you this. Yeah, go for it.
Daukaus versus Sherman. Who wins?
That's the type of fights that should be happening.
I think that'd be a competitive fight.
It'd be a fun fight. That's the type of fight that should be. That's who he should be fighting right now. Is not people like.
Hey, not gonna lie, might edge it out to Sherman.
At this point, man, I don't know. Daukaus has been KO'd 3 times in a row, man. Like, that's not good.
And Sherman should have been KO'd 3 times in a row, but he has a chin on him, man.
Yeah.
So I'm saying I edge it out to Sherman.
That's a good fight, man. I actually do want to see that.
Same.
Because it's a step down for Daukaus. Daukaus does have good hands. It's just he needs to work on that defense, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm happy for Rozenstruik for getting a win, man. He's been having a tough go with it lately, I think.
We have about 8 minutes left before we hit the hour and about 3 more fights to cover. You want to go on to the next one?
Yeah. I mean,
Edmen,
this is going to be a quick one, I think.
Shahbazyan versus Lungiambula.
Dalcha is so fun for the first round, man.
He is, dude. And you know what? Props to Edmen, man. He came in, and I thought that his distance control was really, really good. Another one that was using that front kick to the body a lot, and I think that he used it for that distance control. As Dalcha was coming in, he'd just throw that forward and make Dalcha take a step back. Dude, Dalcha looks like he's drawn out for the perfect physique.
Yeah. But then you realize that physique isn't necessarily perfect for fighting.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Like, aesthetically, like, yeah, really good physique. But when you start getting front kick to the body, you start slowing down, you know?
Yeah, man. He's a little stiff too, I've noticed.
Yeah.
He's a little stiff.
Not very fluid. But he's got a ton of power, and you got to mind your P's and Q's.
Yeah, and there's a front kick I was talking about, right? Creating some distance. I thought Shahbazyan did a really good job of picking and choosing when he would put pressure on, right? Because, like you said, Dalcha, a lot of power, man, so he's just really smart. He got caught with a couple solid shots.
Yeah, he did.
But still, even the few times that he would catch Dalcha, and it seemed like Dalcha might be a little bit stunned, he was still really smart about the way that he came in and attacked. So props to Shahbazyan, and he's moved. I think he said he's living now in Vegas now, right?
Well, I was
Vegas,
about to
Edmen.
say he did what Ronda couldn't do, and he has seeked outside of Edmund.
Yes,
head movement.
Head
movement, and that's obviously worked for him, man. He was on a skid there.
He was, you know? And somebody that just. In the UFC, people have always said left and right that this guy has so much potential. And I think that this is perfect for him. Somebody that's going to be willing to fight, a fight that's going to be good for him, get his confidence back up, and then we'll see what we could do with Edmen after that. Yeah,
I like him, man. I hope the best for him. I was like disappointed at where he was training. I was like, man, if this guy, there's so much untapped potential that isn't going to get seen because of who he's training with. And that the like gym loyalty thing will just hold people back so much. And I'm glad that he's able to get around that, and because he has so much talent. I do want to see I want to see him succeed. He seems like a cool guy.
Gym loyalty could be good sometime. If you're like at ATT, if you're at Killcliff, at your, a couple of these different names, and you're like, yeah, you probably want to stick around there because you're going to figure it out. AKA, I don't know about Edmen.
No, I know about Edmen, and that's not something that you should be so loyal that you're afraid to go seek outside training. Like that's not a gym you should be at.
For sure, man.
All right.
Well, good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
All right, let's move on. We had Chris Curtis versus Joaquin Buckley. This was one of the fights I was looking forward to the most.
Dang, I love Chris Curtis, man. And so Buckley brings it every time. Win or lose, Buckley's going to be in the fun fight.
What a fun fight. It was an exciting fight. Curtis, now we talk about somebody's physique, right? That's not made for fighting. Curtis, somebody else that looks ripped. But, dude, the long arms, one of the things that I kept on noticing is because Buckley will mix it up, right? He'll go to the head, he'll go to the body. And so he has this high guard as he was walking in. And there's a couple times that Buckley goes for a shot to the midsection, and it hits the bottom of Curtis's elbows because his arms are so long. And I'm like, God, how frustrating must that be for Buckley?
Well, he can also do that like Philly shell style where he'll have his chin covered, right? And his other one, but he doesn't leave it straight down. Like some guys they'll go Philly shell and they'll have their arm like fully extended, hanging down. He'll keep it like a 45-degree angle, right? Which is what you're supposed to do. He'll have the shoulder up, hand up, and then that 45-degree angle will have his whole forearm across his body. And when you got long arms like that, dude, you can cover your head and your body at the same time. He does it really well.
Dude, and the entire night, he was just working off counters. He was just waiting for Buckley to throw something, and he countered beautifully. He did a great job rolling with the punches. There's a few times that Buckley would throw that left, and he'd kind of roll with it and then come back with his own left. That was really hard. Almost like he was like setting up a recoil. Throwing it after, he'd roll with it.
He like harnesses your punch and then throws it back at you.
He just, damn, what a superpower.
Yeah.
And, overall, I thought it was just a great performance from Curtis.
Yeah, Buckley took the first round, but you could tell, like, it's one of those things with Curtis. Like, he will lose every fight unless he does get that moment to capitalize on, because he is waiting to counter the whole fight. And that's what happened in his fight with Jack Hermanson. It was kind of like a snoozer because he never really got the moment to counter. And he was like, he was pissed about the decision. And then but when you have a guy like Buckley who is trying to murder you and you're a counter striker, that's all you need. That is the setup, is fighting a guy that's trying to murder you. So yeah, this was a fun fight. And the way he caught him, man, he caught that kick and blasts him with the left hand, drops him. And I was like, was that a slip? No, it was not a slip. There's a picture.
Well,
I don't know if
this is that left right here.
Yeah.
And then Rich, if you can go to the next picture where you could see Buckley,
that's the one I was about to say.
When he lands, it was definitely not a slip.
No, you don't look like that if you slip. And then put him out twice with the ground and pound?
Yes.
Brought him back, took him out, brought him back, and then took him out again. Terrifying.
It was nuts, man. And so Chris Curtis was ranked 14th before my boy Roman Dolidze hopped into the top 15, taking the division by storm. So everybody dropped down a ranking. Chris Curtis coming in at 15. I had a question typed in here for you, Will. Will we ever see Joaquin Buckley hanging out consistently in the top 15?
I don't think so.
It's full of killers in there, man.
Yeah. And I agree with HLB Comer there. I think he could probably make welterweight. The fact that when he fought Kevin Holland looked bigger than him. And now Holland's at welterweight. Buckley can definitely make welterweight. I don't know if he needs – I don't know what he needs. I don't know where he's training. I know he's had trouble finding camps because I guess he spars super hard and people don't want to train with him. But if he gets the right people around him –
with Sean Strickland. He'll be fine. He doesn't mind that.
You think he's going to go train with Chris Curtis after this?
Why not?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, Buckley with you look at guys with like that kind of like muscle mass, and they can usually cut a ton of weight because there's so much water in those muscles that they can lose weight like Yoel Romero. Like how the hell everyone's like, how the hell did he make 185? And Tyron Woodley, how did he make 170? It's like, no, when people are bulky like that, like they can usually cut even more, and he could probably make 170.
When somebody's pudgy, like your boy here, then it's going to be tougher. Then it's going to be tougher.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think we have one more fight to cover after this, if I'm not mistaken. And the fight that we're going to be covering is your boy, Billy the Kid Quarantillo versus Alexander Hernandez.
Dude, he's got to get that nickname. He's still. I don't think he has a nickname still.
Somebody that's close to Billy Quarantillo that listens to this show eventually will reach out and be like, "Hey, these guys have the perfect nickname for you."
He's like, "You don't think I heard that my whole career?"
You don't think I would have picked that by now if I wanted it?
Yeah.
True. Very true. But so you're talking about Joaquin Buckley. Every fight that he goes into, he's going to bring it. Exact same thing with Billy Quarantillo, man.
Yeah.
Every time, he's going to bring it. It's going to be an exciting fight. Alexander Hernandez, I believe this was his debut at 145.
It was,
if I'm not mistaken. Another example. You see this guy, a lot of muscle mass. And from what they were saying, Alexander Hernandez had an easy weight cut and, did it the right way, of course, but that it wasn't very tough. And Billy the Kid Quarantillo said, "Oh, you think you're going to be able to come in here and dominate my division?"
Yeah.
What?
You think you could keep up the pace that you need to keep to beat someone like me?
Man.
Come on.
And that's one of the notes I have on here, right? Because they were saying Alex wanted to bring a pace and show Billy that he can also maintain that high pace. And I put down, hey, having cardio outside of an actual fight versus having cardio in the middle of an all-out brawl
of a grinding
with somebody
war
that is used to high pace in that octagon, it's a little different, man.
It's different. This was a great fight too. I thought this should have been fight of the night more so than the Darren Till fight, but
more than Paddy's.
Yeah, but
Paddy said that was fight of the night.
He's like, "Come on, this is fight of the night, right?" And it was like, probably not.
The crowd's all quiet.
Yeah. Billy took some damage in that first round. He was getting lit up, and he just kept like getting caught in like sloppy positions, kind of. And then it didn't matter though. Like after that first round, he kind of started turning up the pace a little bit, and he just beat the life out of Hernandez, really. Hernandez has kind of always done that. Hernandez has shown like really good skills, like really good talent. He's very talented, but he just like cannot maintain it. Like he always ends up either slipping up or getting outworked or gets caught.
Well,
HB Comer says he says, I didn't understand this matchup. Hernandez is on a losing streak going down a weight class, and they give him an absolute savage. He was a serious contender at this class. Yeah, it's a tough weight class debut for Hernandez, who's probably looking for like a gimme at this point.
Yeah, and the thing is, look, he loses Donald Cerrone, beats Francisco Trinaldo, who I think is 70 years old, still fighting. Loses to Drew Dober.
Yeah.
Beats Chris Gritzmacher. Loses to Thiago Moises. Beats Mike Breeden. So it looks like when you reach a certain level of fighters with Alexander Hernandez, it's just an L. Just chop it up as an L. Because anybody that is a lower tier fighter, and I mean that with all due respect. I don't know how that could sound respectful, but whenever you fight a lower tier fighter, that's when he shows up really well, man. Like I said, Breeden, Gritzmacher, Trinaldo. Come on. Oh, well, he did beat Beneil Dariush back in the day. That's probably the biggest win, honestly.
But Dariush has been, I don't know. He's gone through ups and downs in his own career,
Yeah, but Dariush, biggest name that he's fought, any other name that he fought that was like the next tier up, didn't go too well.
Yeah, it's been a tough go. It's like ever since that fight with Cowboy, it's like it like took his soul, bro. Yeah,
it did.
And I don't blame him, man. That was a big loss.
That was a highlight combo. Like whenever there's different, like reels for finishes in the UFC, that's gonna be one that's in every single highlight reel.
It's also like you never want to be on the wrong end of one of those videos of like when trash talking goes wrong. Like you never want to be the guy who it went wrong for, and that was Hernandez.
Yeah. Hey, if you do enough trash talking, it's gonna happen eventually.
That's true.
All right, man. I think that's it for all the fights. Time to cover a moment of silence. And Last week, Rich covered them. So shout out to Rich, our producer. Not sure if you want to cover them or if Rich wants to hop on. Whatever you guys want to do, I guess. It was nice seeing Rich come on camera.
Yeah,
it's not so often that happens.
Hey, look at that. There it is.
Rich
is like, hey,
Dog,
guys, thanks for putting me on the spot.
There are 8 of these. That's so many. It was 2 last week.
It was.
2. Oh, my God.
All right.
I guess. Oh, Robbie Lawler. I know that guy. He's bald,
Hey.
right?
He is
Yes,
bald.
he is bald.
He was supposed to fight George's boy, Ponzinibbio. Are we
Whoa.
okay? So here's the question: Are we
Okay.
sad that didn't happen? Do we prefer the fight that occurred?
I actually do prefer the fight that happened. I don't really need to see Robbie Lawler.
I'm
anymore.
pretty sad that I didn't see Robbie Lawler.
And
I don't
then
need to see him
Idri,
fight
we know
anymore.
we wanted him. I know that. Glover Teixeira.
Yeah,
rest in
absolutely.
peace to that fight.
Yes.
Daniel De Silva versus Vincius. Is it Vincius Salvador?
Vinicius.
I don't know who that is. Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, rest in peace. Jamie Pickett versus Bo Nicol. Rest in peace.
A lot of hype on Bo.
Ronnie Lawrence
Yep.
versus Cameron Simon. Who did that replace? What replaced that fight?
Lawrence
Simon versus
was,
Silva?
no, Simon versus Kozlo.
Kozlo, that's what it was. That's right.
And do we prefer what took place, or do we still wish that fight occurred?
It's one of those. It was like the first fight on the card, so like didn't really matter.
Give me a coin. I'll flip it right
Give
now.
me a coin. I'll flip it.
Gotcha. Okay. Alexander Gustafsson was supposed to fight Ovin St. Pro.
Oh, the Mauler. Yes, Alexander Gustafsson.
I'm glad that fight didn't happen, to be honest.
Okay, that's good. Good to know. And
True
then-
story, Rich. Just so you know, when we
Wait,
say the
how
Mauler
is-
with Alexander
How's
Gustafsson.
Ovin St. Pro on 2 of these? Why is he on 2 of them? He's on the
Because
next one.
after Gustafsson pulled out, they gave him the Philippe Lins fight. I think that was the order. And then that fight also
Yes.
fell through.
And then
He's on there
he's on
multiple
the third
times.
one. He's on the third one.
Yeah.
Man,
He's had
this
like
guy
10
just
fights
can't
get canceled.
Fight, dude. He can't fight. No way.
But Rich, just so you know, with Alexander Gustafsson, true story, there's a customer I was working with one time, extremely upset. I hear an accent, hear where he's from, find out that he's from the same area as Alexander Gustafsson. And as soon as I mentioned Alexander Gustafsson's name, the customer's attitude completely turned around, and he was like, yes, the Mauler, Alexander Gustafsson.
No.
And the guy was super cool after that. So that's why anytime I see his name now, I'm like, yes, the Mauler. Love that guy. Love that guy. All right,
pretty cool.
bonuses.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. Santiago Ponzinibbio with a come from behind knockout on the main card. He got one. Topuria with a submission on Bryce Mitchell. Raul Rosas Jr., the youngest fighter, did he get a bonus? He got 50.
Yeah, now he can buy his mom that van. He's going to buy his mom a van.
Or a van. Okay.
So he says.
I heard my friend Ramiro got a PS5 and God of War 2. And guys, if y'all are listening, can you believe he tried to go straight to the second game without playing the first one? Can't believe this dude. Jairzinho Rozenstruik railroaded his way to $50,000 against Chris Daukaus. Edmen Shahbazyan against Dalcha. Lungiambula got his 50K.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Dalcha,
money. What about have they
That's a lot
talked
of
about the
money.
budget? Chris Curtis against Joaquin Buckley got his 50K. Billy Quarantillo took Alexander Hernandez best and came for a second standing TKO for 50,000. This is good. That's a lot of money.
How about Joe?
TJ Brown. Oh, what's up?
How about Joe repeatedly saying to Billy the Kid, yeah, you really came back in the third round there. Like 4 times he mentioned the fact that he came back in the third round, and it's like, bro, it's got finished in the second round.
TJ. So now I think HLB Omer was saying that everybody got a bonus like Oprah style.
Yeah.
And now I see why. TJ Brown, 50K. Cameron Simon, 50K. So yeah, that's the bonuses, guys.
Hey, Rich.
Yeah, I'm here.
Rich coming through.
Believe
See,
it or not,
I love
I'm
that.
watching the show.
that the camera time that Rich gets. I like it.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
You know, it's good stuff. So we were talking earlier, and you said, hey, if they just give bonuses to everybody that gets a finish, how much more would fighters just want to go for the finish? It would eliminate all the fighters having to say, hey, can I get a bonus?
Yeah. And clearly they can.
Yeah. But there's still going to be some cases where there might not be a finish, but it's just an all-out brawl, and Dana still says, hey, it's well-deserved, fight of the night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or you go fight of the night bonus and then finishing bonuses.
Yeah, that's what it should be. HLB Comer says, yeah, the hypocrisy of Rogan was weird. The fact that he just kept pressing Jan to say, I didn't win this fight. But then in the Paddy interview, he's like, I'm not going to say shit about this decision.
Hey, you guys don't talk bad about my boy Rogan, right? He's a saint. He's a saint. All right, man. Hey, thank you everybody that joined us. Jeez, I did not keep my chat turned on, but I did see it blowing up where we had over 100 comments coming through. I appreciate it. We had HLB Comer coming through, Toasty coming through, Regen coming through, right? We had Keith coming through. We had Ray Area coming through.
Regen had a baby.
I know. Congratulations again, Regen, man. But just so much more fun whenever everybody joins us live. Really, really appreciate it. And if this is your first time watching, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever we hop on. So you can also join us live. So you can also give us your comments, your thoughts around the fights. It's fantastic. And then maybe you don't want to join us on YouTube. You can watch on Spotify. You can't watch on Breaker, but you can listen. Apple Podcasts, Radio Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere podcasts are found, or social media.
Yeah, it's at Story the Fight on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, everywhere. Twitch. StoryTheFight.com.
Forget about Twitch. Oh, yeah. It shows you where we're available.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Well,
next week.
Will, before we go, your trip.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Tell us about your trip.
Yeah. I have a slideshow.
Wait, time out. You had a slideshow ready to go for the...
I made a slideshow.
You were ready.
I don't know how to share it. Let me just send it to... Do you want to preview next week's card for me really quick while I send this to Rich?
Oh, sure. Let me go and get that up real quick because I closed it. But let me see what we have going on. We do have a fight night, right? We have one more fight night before
we have a fight night. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So let's see what we have here. Ooh. Did you watch any of the Teofimo Lopez fight, by the way?
No, I didn't.
All right. Well, we have Jared Cannonier versus Sean Strickland coming up. Armin Saryukian is going to be on the fight versus Ismagulov. Bazzi versus Costa. Our boy Bruce Leroy versus Julian Juicy J Erosa.
I know. It's so good.
That's going to be a fun fight. Oh, your boy Drew Dober versus Bobby Green. Brundage versus Oleg Zajac.
Bro, don't just gloss over Dober versus Bobby Green. That is such a banger.
That is a banger. Maheshate? I don't know how to pronounce it. Not to be confused with Misha Tate. Rafa Garcia. Rafa Garcia, dude. Hey, this is a fun fight.
Matthews versus Semmelsberger is going to be awesome also. Manel Kapp.
David Dvorak versus Manel Kapp. That's a good one, too. Hey, this is going to be a fun
battle.
Brian Battle back at it? Yeah.
Yeah. Sergey Morozov.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's a very good card.
Said Nurmagomedov's on there versus Kakramanov.
Yeah. It's a good card.
This is going to be a good one. Darren Wynn's still in the UFC. Hey, sometimes it's all about who you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about who you know. He's going to lose against Julian Marquez, the Cuban Missile crisis, dude.
And we'll all be here for it.
All right, let's see this. Let's see the slideshow.
Cool. So, Rich, I will tell you when to switch pictures. So, let's just to recap. Story time with Will. So, me and Katie went to the Philippines, right? One on Prime 5. It was Rainer de Ritter versus Malakin, for the light heavyweight belt. Yeah. Rainer de Ritter's he beat the welterweight champ. He beat the middleweight champ. He's the light heavyweight champ. Malakin's got the interim heavyweight champ, and he's like, I'm going down. I'm getting the light heavyweight belt. And it's like, oh shit, very good card. The Rotolo brothers are on it. Roberto Soldic is on the card. Everyone's like pissed that he didn't sign with the UFC. He's like, I'm going to ONE FC where I can get cool walkouts and make more money. And so we go right. And I'm in that Discord group with Keith. It's like an official Discord from ONE FC. It's like watch party for the Prime event, the Prime cards, right? And it's like for feedback. There's like 20. I think there's like 25 fans, and then there's like 5 ONE FC staff in the chat, right? It's on Discord. And they all know that like I'm going to this, right? Keith knows some of the other guys. Shout out to Nate and all those boys. But so that's the arena, right? Crazy. We're in the Philippines. Go to the next picture, please, Rich. Look at that. Look at that stage for the walkouts. How
Great
badass
seats,
is
by
that?
the way.
These are actually not even our seats. We had even crazier seats. I'm gonna play a video really quick of the walk into the arena. Let me just do this real quick. Make sure there's no audio because it is music and we'll get flagged. Screen.
Yeah, dude, we don't want to get flagged.
We don't want to get flagged.
We don't want to lose any earnings for the podcast, you know?
Yeah. So this is walking into the arena. Just crazy, right? These crazy screens. We sat right here. Wow. Right behind the belt. Yeah, it was crazy.
Did you get to hold the belt?
I did not get to hold the belt.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. So during the fights, again, Rich, I'll tell you when to switch pictures, but during the fights, we're watching, all of a sudden I get a notification on my phone. And it's a Discord notification with someone tagged me in a message, and they're like, "Oh, we got to tag him, so we'll see." And it's Nate from the ONE FC chat, and I'm like, "Oh, what's up, guys?" And they're like, "Hey, is this the event you're at?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're here. Take a picture real quick." We're like literally like 4 rows back from the cage, and I send that in the chat, and they're like, "Oh shit, that's crazy," blah blah blah. And we're watching the fights, and then I'm like, "All right, I got to peace out though, because I'm not gonna like sit here on my phone during these fights." But like, have fun, guys. And then one of the ONE FC employees that's in the chat DMs me, and they're like, "Hey, we saw your shout out Mahoko." She's like, "Hey, we saw you guys are HW Comer says so." It's like a rave, right, dude? Yes,
it looks like it.
It is crazy, bro. There's lights going everywhere. I don't know if you saw like in the seats. There's like all these white lights. Those are like wristbands. They're like ONE FC wristbands that light up.
Damn.
And it's right here, right?
HFV cover.
So they light up, right? And they change colors. Like someone's controlling the colors, and they turn off. Like in between fights, they turn off, and then like as soon as they start announcing another one, they all flash on in the stadium. It was crazy, bro. No comment on that, HLB Comer. But so Mahoko reaches out. She DMs me. She's like, "Hey, like we saw that you guys came from America to the Philippines for this event. Like we're super stoked. We want to meet you in person." I'm like, "Sick." And she's like, "We have like a super fan booth out in like the concourse of the arena. We have one on the first floor and the second floor. Like come by and like say what's up." And I was like, "Which one are you at?" And she's like, "I'm on the second floor." But my colleague Valentina, shout out Valentina, she's downstairs. I was like, "Cool. After this fight, I'll go up." Fight ends. Me and Katie leave. We go up to the concourse. We say hi to Mahoko. She's like, "Are you Birdlaw?" Like from a distance, right? And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" I'm like the only white guy there. And she's like, "Are you Birdlaw?" And I was like, "Yeah. What's up? My name's Will. This is Katie, blah, blah, blah." Introduce each other. She gives me like all kinds of like little stickers and like pop sockets and stuff. And then she's like, "Oh, Valentina's coming up." We tell them like, "Yeah, we just got our passport for this like a week ago. Like this is our first trip out of the country." They're like, "Holy shit, that's crazy. Like we want to meet you, like we want to introduce you to like another colleague. Like one sec, like we're gonna get him up here." So we're talking and stuff. They're super cool. We're like hanging out in the booth with them basically, right? Because they have like a booth to like give stickers out to people and stuff. And this dude comes up, introduces himself. His name's Ty Morshed. And HLV Comer says Will tells the best stories. This guy comes up, Ty Morshed. Nicest guy in the world. He is responsible. He works for ONE FC. He was responsible for closing the deal with Amazon to be on Amazon.
Wow.
So it's like this dude's
so you're
like
talking to like some
like exec guy, right?
Yeah.
And he's like super stoked. He said he grew up in Texas. I don't think he was born in the States, but he grew up in Texas and then has lived in Singapore for the past 5 years, right? Working with ONE FC and stuff. But he's moving back to the US. I don't know if he's moving back to Texas, but moving back to the US because he's like the head of the division for like US market growth for ONE FC. So he's like all this. Yeah. So he's like the prime deal, right? That's like only in America or like North America. So like that's his baby, right? He's like, this is actually the first time. He's like, this is the first time I'm actually getting to be here live for a Prime card. So like I'm pretty stoked to like see like what I set up. I was like, sick. And he's like, what do you say we watch the fight real quick, and then after the fight we'll like I'll take you guys backstage and stuff. And we're like, what the fuck is going on? So he's like, I'm like, okay. So we're like walking down with him back into the arena. He takes us to like legitimately like first row. Rich, you could switch the picture. We're literally like,
Whoa.
like the only people in front of us are like the timekeepers and like the judges and shit. And we watch Amber Kitchen versus Jackie Buntan, which was fucking crazy. Like they're just like, I mean, it was a great fight, right? Muay Thai. And we're like sitting there with him, talking to him, and he's like, so you guys like dating? You guys married? We're like, yeah, we just got married like a few months ago. And he's like, what is this, like your honeymoon? And we're like, oh shit. Yes, HLB Comer. They did have super high tech toilets. Yeah, it was crazy. Future, that's future over there, bro. And so we're sitting here with him, we're talking, and he's like, if you guys have any questions, like, yes, I also was probably the tallest guy in the room. So we're like, he's like, ask me any questions, like if I can answer them, like I'll answer them. And he's like, I was like, so I'm sure you saw like it leaked a while back that that venue in Colorado that you guys like booked a date over there, like you guys like coming to America.
He's like, can't answer that.
And he was like I can't give too many details, but we were supposed to announce that tonight. And I was like, oh shit, really? And I was like, is it still happening? And he's like, we will probably be announcing it on Monday. And I was like, nice. And I was like that's my birthday weekend, so like we're definitely gonna go. And he was like, sick. HW Comer says, Will, I think you got married too soon. You could be a Japanese pussy slayer. Don't put this on screen. Wow, I wish I didn't. I wish I read that before reading it out loud.
Yeah,
Thank you, HW Comer.
So much for this being a family show.
Yeah. But yeah, so we watched the fight, right? We're chatting with him, stuff like that. And he's just super like appreciative that we came across the world, right, to go see the fights. And so this fight ends, and he's like, I'll be right back. And we're like, all right, cool. And me and Katie like look at each other, we're like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, this is crazy. We're like sitting like front row, and she's like, he's talking to Chachi right now. And we're like, what? And like off camera here, right to the left is where Chatri's sitting watching the fights. And I look over, and both of them have their backs turned to us, but they're like standing up. You can see like there's like a little fence right in front of us. Yeah. And I look over, and they're on the other side of the fence, and Ty's talking to Chatri, and he's like got his arm around him. They're like talking real close, right? Because it's super loud in there. And they turn around, like both walk over to us, and we're like, holy shit. So we get up, and like Chatri like comes over. He's like, you guys came all the way from America for this? And we're like, oh yeah. And shake his hand and stuff. I'm wearing a Story of the Fight shirt, and I was like, yeah, I'm in. I was like, he's like, because Ty told him that that I'm I'm active a lot in like a 1FC chat room basically. And he's like, so what, you work for Reddit? And I was like, no, like I was like I have like I'm in a chat group, like a 1FC chat group, but I do have like an MMA podcast. And I was like, that's what the shirt is. And he's like, oh, if you ever want to interview me, like I'll come on the show. And I was like, oh shit, like thanks for saying that, but like I know you don't mean it, but like I appreciate that in the moment. And like he's like, so you guys just got married? HW Comer, this is like a Tarantino movie. He's like, you guys just got married? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, what is this, like your honeymoon? And I was like, I guess. And he's like, that's awesome. Like, what do you guys think of the production? And we're like, dude, it's insane. Like, it's fucking crazy. He's like, yeah, we try like really hard for the production. I was like, dude, like it shows all this stuff. Honestly, probably blacked out a little bit. Don't even remember most of the conversation. You know what I mean? Rich, you could go to the next picture. Look at that.
Hey,
look at the boy right there.
Man.
What a homie. Super stoked that we were there. And yeah, it was super cool. He's like, I gotta bounce. Like I got shit to take care of. And I was like, obviously. So he left.
Yeah,
and then Ty comes back.
This organization.
Yeah, and then Ty comes back, and he's like, you guys want to go backstage? And we're just like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, dude. So we go backstage. He takes us to he takes us to like the walkouts. Like I'm sure you've seen like when they do the walkouts for 1FC, like if it's a champion, they walk through a hallway that has like it's lined with like all their current champs, right? He's like, you guys want a picture in the hallway? And we're like, sure. So he pulls his phone out and starts taking photos of us and stuff. Rich, you can go to the next photo. Bam. So there we are in the hallway, right?
So sick.
I know, like literally like back of the venue. Like he had to like open up like a curtain and stuff and like sneak us in the side, right? And shout out HW Comer. Luckily, no, it did not end that way. But we walked through that tunnel, and then now we're in like this back room, and there's like a tent door, and it's like right behind that stage from the first picture, right? With like the LED screens and stuff. And he's like, yeah, so like this is like the last step they walk through until they're like in the arena. And we're like, holy shit. He's like, you guys want to go in the locker rooms? And we're like, what? And he's like, yeah. So he's like, we're walking through the hallways, and he's like, yeah, like the way we do it is like, I'm sure you guys are familiar with like red corner, blue corner. Basically, we have like all the blue corner fighters, like they're in one hotel, all the red corner fighters in another hotel. We try to like build them almost like a team so that they're like rooting each other on like backstage during the fights. Cause like, yeah, they try to build like camaraderie between red corner and blue corner, which I thought was super cool. He takes us in the locker rooms. Rich, you can go to the next picture. Yeah, so we're like in the blue corner locker room. That's Malikin right there in the back with the sweatshirt on. He's like, you guys take photos if you want. And I was like, I'm kind of scared to take a photo, to be honest. So yeah, we're like back there with the fighters and stuff, chilling for a bit, going to the red corner. The Rotolo brothers are there. RDR's in there. I didn't take a picture in there because I was like, they're like all in here. And this one, it was pretty much just Malikin. And I was like, I don't want to like be recording these people like as they're getting ready for war. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was crazy. He takes us back. He's like, yeah, so like if you guys need anything, like let me know. Like hopefully like the rest of the fights are good and you like guys like enjoy your stay and stuff, right? So we go back to our seats and we're just like, what the fuck just happened?
What just happened?
Yeah, we watched the rest of the card. Malikin knocks out RDR in the first round. Like it was bananas. And then right after they do the like confetti, right? You know how they do like the confetti, the gold confetti everywhere?
Yeah.
I feel a hand on my shoulder and I look back and HLB Cover says this Bellator event looks fun. But I feel a hand on my shoulder and I look back and it's Ty and he's like, hey, do you guys want to go in the cage? And we're like, what? Like, what the fuck is happening? So I'm going to share my screen again really quick. Let me just go exit that one, share here. Sorry, this is a long story. We're super long right now.
No, but the thing is, like, we already covered the fight. So anybody that wanted to listen to us cover the fights, this is extra bonus content.
Yeah. So we're waiting, right? We're like, they're doing the post-fight interviews and stuff. Malikin's going crazy because he just got like a double bonus. He got a belt. He's hugging Chatri, right? And this is the Prime feed, and we're just standing there. We're literally like right there, just fucking standing there waiting. And we're like, this is fucking crazy. Like all this is happening right in front of us.
That is
just
so
standing
funny.
there. And then
that's awesome, man.
And then they clear out. Malikin walks back to the back, and Ty's like, all right, let's go. We're up. And then Rich, if you want to go to the next photo. Actually, one more after this. So we're like in there, haven't even cleaned the confetti up yet. They have this. The ONE FC photographer goes in, takes photos of us, and like takes like official photos of us in there. I have them, but not in the Google Drive.
Damn.
And then like we exit the cage on the other side, and then Rich, if you want to go back to the next picture.
Should have been like, can you guys drop more confetti while we're in here, please?
Yeah, can you shower more confetti?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the winner here. So then we walk out, and the belt's like right there. So we're taking a photo of the belt, and then Ty comes out of the cage. He's like, "You guys want a photo with the belt too?" And so we like have a photo of us like standing, not with the belt, but like standing next to it, you know?
Yeah.
And then he he emails us the photos and stuff, and then they had the 164 card was after this. It was later this night. This was 9 a.m. in the morning. And we go to that. My phone died, right, during the event. And then
you didn't take a bad. The portable charger. It's all right. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. There was outlet issues. Never buy those Insignia travel adapters. They do not work.
Hey, dude.
but yeah, so there was power issues. But yeah, phone died. Woke up in the morning, and I have messages from Mahoko and Ty both asking like, "Hey, where you at? Like, are you at the event?" I was like, "Shit, we missed it. Like, we missed them." And Mahoko's like, I have another message from Mahoko saying like, "Hey, we had a gift for you, but we couldn't find you at the event, so we left at the lobby because we were all staying at the same hotel." Also, shout out Michael Chavello, Rich Franklin, Dom Lau, like all of them were at the same. Like we all like ate breakfast together and shit.
That's awesome.
It was great. Herb Dean was there. I think Herb Dean thought he was supposed to know who I was because we were checking in. He was like walking past us, and I was like, "What's up, Herb?" And he was like, "Oh," and he like walks over and like fist bumps me. He's like, "What's up, guys?" And I was like, "Oh, you don't have to pretend like you know me, dog." Like, but yeah, shout out Herb Dean. He's super nice. But then they're like, "Yeah, we left a gift at the lobby." So then we go to the lobby, and it's a poster for the 164 event, Brooks versus Pasiao, Pompeyek versus Superlek, Brandon Vera, right? All these guys. And it's like signed by all of them. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, these guys are crazy, dude. They're just so nice. It was insane.
Hospitality, though.
I gotta get it like framed and stuff. It was insane, dude. And I'm for sure gonna go to Colorado for that card and see what's up.
Yeah, dude, you got to hit up Ty.
But shout out to Mahoko. Shout out to Ty. Oh, I'll definitely reach out. He told me to reach out. He was like, "Let me know if you need anything."
Like, yeah, I need tickets and a flight.
I'll buy tickets.
First class and hotel.
I am excited to just fly 2.5 hours rather than 14. That was brutal.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, all in all, it was insane, dude.
Lifetime of a lifetime, dude.
Yeah, now we got these cool like circle side. Whatever lanyards. It was crazy, bro. Lifetime of a lifetime.
If anybody deserved a trip to Manila to watch ONE FC and get the kind of treatment you got, man, it was you, Will. So super happy for you, dude.
Shout out ONE FC with the hat.
Shout out ONE FC. There we go, man. So hey, thank you that anybody that stuck around for
that long ass story,
the bonus content. Shout out to everybody again. I think that's all the time that we got at this point.
Absolutely hilarious.
Oh, dude, I'm laughing in the background.
Just
Like,
so
I'm not trying to
funny,
say
dude.
the stuff that he's saying because it's not really family friendly, but I'm like laughing, and I'm sorry if that was disrespectful, Will, during your story. I'm like cracking up in the background, like covering my face. But
so
good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, guys. That's all I got. You got anything else, Will?
No.
All right. And just so you know, this long podcast today has been produced by Richard Bustos. Clap.